ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुराज्ञेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तिपुत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनितिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः Om. Good morning to everybody. Today we are going to see the Puranas. Purana means Pura api nava iti Purana. What are these Puranas and how it is made and where it occurs and what are the silent features of Puranas are we are going to be seeing. So let us start this Purana. First of all, what are the special aspects about the Purana? Puranas are generally collected or recollected by none other than Lord Brahma himself. Because when the Srishti was started, when the creation was started, he collected, or so to say, it was actually a recollection. Because from the earlier things he has collected and that he has shared to the next generation. Like that it goes. Now, these Puranas are compiled by Vedavyasa. Who is Vedavyasa? The Vedavyasa is none other than Krishna Dvaipayana, who is also known as Krishna Dvaipayana. What happened? He never mentioned his name anywhere. Vedavyasa means one who has splitted or compiled the Veda. Because he is a great saint, he is called Maharishi. And another one is, he is also called as Krishna Dvaipayana. He is black in complex and he born in between the two islands. So he is called Krishna Dvaipayana. This person has compiled the 18 Vedas, the Puranas, and for every yuga it may differ. So when we see in the Bhagavata Puranam or Vishnu Puranam or Bhavishyat Puranam, there will be slight changes between one Purana to another, and or there may be a contradiction, or this means they may have 4 children, 1 child, or 1 male child, or 1 small, these things, all these slight changes will be there, because every yugas it get changed. So to avoid this confusion, we need not to go into those traps. We'll just see what are the Puranas and how it is classified. And they existed for every kalpas and the yugas, means the Chatwari yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali yugas. So these Puranas are very, very important. Now we will see where it is origin. Puranam Sarvashastranam Prathamam Brahmana Smritam Anantaram cha Vaktrebhyo Devastasya Vinirgataha. These Puranas are, first of all, from the Sarvashastram, from all the Shastras, it was extracted by none other than the Lord Brahma, and then he has given to the next, means yugas. Puranam ekam avasadit tada kalpantare anagha. According to Matsya Purana, it is stated that every end of the Puranas, Lord Brahma, he will take those Puranas and he will hand over to the next Brahma, because Brahma is a post. Okay. Padma Purana says, Padma Puranam 1.1.45, if you see, Puranam Sarva Shastranam Pratamam Brahmana Smritam. The first born person is Brahma. From him, all the Puranas have means come out. Okay, this is the meaning. And like this, every Purana I have quoted here. Skanda Puranam 7.1.23 to 4th mantra. Tatap Puranamakilam Sarvashastramayam Dhruvam. It is very rare to get all the Puranas, but whereas these main Puranas are compiled and handed over by none other than the Brahma himself. And Vedavyasa rightly and nicely he has classified those things and he has given. According to Bhavishya Puranam, the origin of creation and the Puranas of have handed over also mentioned. Srishti Varnam Purananam Brahma Panchamam Asmadutpatti Varnancha. So thus these Puranas are created. It is like this, it is mentioned. According to Matsya Purana 53.63 it is mentioned. According to Linga Puranam also 1.2.2 it is mentioned. Okay, the same idea. Brahma is the person who has handed over these Puranas. Now, where comes the Vedavyasa's role then? Maharshi Vedavyasa, he has, this credit goes to him because he compiled the entire Puranas. It was scattered everywhere and he compiled and he made it into mainly Ashtadasha Mahapuranas. Ashta means 8 and Dasha means 10 Mahapuranas. So he compiled these Puranas into 18 Puranas, major 18 Puranas, and thus it is stated in the Vayu Puranam, Vyasa Prasadhamadika Adhigata Shastra Sambandho Dena Cha Ashtadasha Puranani Cheti Itihasa Cha Anagaha Upakramo Upasanghara Vidinoktika Kritshasaha. Thus, this Vayu Purana says the Krishna Dvaipayana, or also called Vedavyasa, he only composed all those things and classified it. According to Vayu Purana 2.41.51, Krishna Dvaipayanena Uktam Puranam Brahmana Dina. As stated by the Brahma, Krishna Dvaipayana compiled it and he has classified it. Okay, now comes, is there is any other evidence about these Puranas or in other places? Yes, because when we read the Shastram, another Shastram should be referred as by this. For example, when we read the Vedas also, Mantra Brahmanas are almost referred by the Brahmana or the Samhita or in the Upanishads. Tatapyesha shloko bhavati, like that the word comes. Here also, when we read Puranas, it has to be seen under the light of Vedas and the Veda Angas. What are the Vedas? Rig, Yajus, Sama, Atharva. And the Veda Angas are Siksha, Kalpam, Vyakaranam, Niruptam, Chandasham, Jyotisham, are the Smriti Vakyas and the Shruti Vakyas. Okay. Now, in the Taittiriya Aranyaka of Krishna Yajurveda in the Shatapatha Brahmana 11.5.6 to 8, it is clearly mentioned these Puranas are stated by Brahma. Okay, I am not reading the entire mantra because it has a swara which I don't know, because the Shatapatha Brahmana which I don't know. So just I am giving as it is. And according to Atharva Veda, Richas Samani Chandamsi Purananam Jusha Saha Uchishta Ashta means there are 18 Mahapuranas. Sarve Dive Deva Divishhritaha. In the Atharvana Veda, it is mentioned. According to Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Va Areyasya Mahato Bhutasya Nishrisritam, like this it goes. There also it is mentioned the sutras, Puranas, Itihasas, all Vedavyasa has given beautifully. Okay, he is the main person who has compiled and composed and edited it. Gautama Dharma Shutram also mentioned this. It is mentioned in 3 parts. Okay, I am just quoting from various things just to establish these Puranas are given from Brahma and which is handed over to Vedavyasa, and the Vedavyasa classified and compiled it. Okay, according to Manusmriti 3.232, it is further emphasized that the study of Vedas and the Dharmashastras and the Mahapuranas and the Idihasas are beautifully classified. Swadhyayanam Shravane Pitre Dharmashastrini Chaiva hi Akyani Itihasam cha Puranani Kilani cha, thus mentioned. Okay, now we call generally Puranam Panchamo Vedaha. How we call these Puranas are the 18 Puranas are none other than the 5th Vedas. We know only 4 Vedas, Rigya, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. But whereas the Puranas are the 5th Veda. Where is the reference? Atharva Veda 15.6. From 11th mantra to 12th mantra, it is stated, Tamihita ha sascha Puranam cha gathascha Nara samshischa anushchalanam Idihasascha cha vaiha Puranascha cha Gathanam cha Nara samshinam cha Priyam dhama bhavati evam veda. Thus, in the Vratyakanda of Atharva Veda, it is clearly mentioned in the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda. Along with this, the Panchama Veda is the Purana. According to Chandogya Upanishad also, 7.1.2 to 4th mantra, in the Skanda Purana also 5.3.1 to 18, and Bhagavata Mahapuranam also Prathamaskandaha Chaturthadhyayaha 20th shloka, it is clearly mentioned that these Puranas are 5th Veda. Okay, now we will go in little more deeper. The Purana was classified based on its characters, like Trigunas we call it in Sanskrit. They are Sattvika, Rajasa and Tamasa. Okay, in Matsya Puranam and the Skanda Puranam, these things are clearly mentioned in 7.2.57 to 58 sloka. The slokas are Satvikeshu Puraneshu Mahatmyam Adhikam Hare Rajeshu cha Mahatmyam Adhikam Brahmano Viduhu. And in the Markandeya Purana, Matsya Purana also, this same idea is repeated. I don't want to repeat the same thing. So the Puranas are 18 basically, which is classified by Vedavyasa, and these 18 Puranas can be classified into 3 divisions. And what are they? Sattvika, Rajasa and the Tamasa. Okay, this much if you know, that is good. Next, we'll go. What are those Ashtadasha Mahapurani? There is a beautiful sloka in Devi Bhagavatam which enumerates the 18 Mahapuranas in a nutshell slokas beautifully. I was really wondered when I was searching this. That's why I just want to share this knowledge to you. Madhvayam, Bhadvayam Chaiva, Vatrayam, Vachatuštayam, Anapalinga Kuskani, Puranani Pratak. This is the sloka mentioned in Devi Bhagavatam 1.3.2. Okay, what is the meaning of this sloka? Madhvayam. There is a Ma word beginning to, the word Ma was used 2 times. What are they? Ma, Markandeya Puranam and the Matsya Puranam. Badvayam. Bha word is used twice in the Purana. What are they? Bhagavata Mahapuranam and the Bhavishyat Puranam. Vratrayam. Vra, the word is used, which is Vra means Bra, we can use it. So the Bra word is used for 3 times. That is Brahma Puranam, Brahmanda Puranam, Brahma Vaivasvata Puranam. So 3 times it is used. Vachatushtayam. Okay, 4 times the word Va was used. What are they? Vishnu, Vamana, Vayu, Varaha. So thus 4 times the word Va was used. So these 4 Puranas have come. Along with this, Anapalinga Kuskani. What are they? A means it is very funny thing. Anapalinga. A stands for Naradiya Upanishad Puranam. Naradiya Puranam. Then, A stands for Agni Puranam. Na stands for Naradiya Puranam. And Pa stands for Padma Puranam. Lim stands for Linga Puranam. And Ga stands for Garuda Puranam. Ku stands for Kurma Puranam. Ska stands for Skanda Puranam. So this we taken the first word Anapalinga. Okay, Kuska means Agni, Naradiya, Padma, Linga, Garuda, Kurma, Skanda Puranam. These Puranas are, of course, I have taken from Devi Bhagavatam. There are many versions. Okay, for example, in Vishnu Puranam 3.6, there is another sloka. In Skanda Puranam and Agni Puranam, there is another sloka which elaborates these 18 Purana. But there are only 18 Puranas which are elaborated here. Okay, Skanda Puranam says like this, Vishnu Puranam says like this, Garuda Puranam says like this. So there are some difference of opinion are there. It may be written some other time, or as I said earlier, in one Chatur Yuga it may be defined like that. So thus it may get varied, but in basically there are 18 Puranas. That's this much, if you know, that is sufficient. And according to Shiva Mahapuranam, the sloka easily you can remember 5.5.15. There it is mentioned what are these 18 Puranas: Vishnu Puranam, Naradiya Puranam, Srimad Bhagavata Puranam, Garuda Puranam, Padma Puranam, Varaha Puranam, Brahma Puranam, Brahmanda Puranam, Brahma Vaivasvata Puranam, Markandeya Puranam, Bhavishya Puranam, Vamana Puranam, Matsya Puranam, Kurma Puranam, Linga Puranam, Shiva Puranam, Skanda Puranam, and last but not the least, Agni Puranam. These are all the 18 Puranas. I have just classified in 2 sections. In the Shiva Puranam, chapter 1, chapter 5, section 5, 15th mantra, it is mentioned. Now we will go to the next session, that is, what are the Ashtadasha Upapurani? There are some supplementary Puranas also, which is stated here, but I don't want to go in deep. If you want, you can see or follow my PPT. Those who are following in the YouTube also, they can pass and read it yourself. It is very simple and beautifully it is stated. These 18 Upapuranas also mentioned in the Garuda Puranam, like Sanat Kumara Puranam, Narasingha Puranam, Brihannaradiya Puranam, Shiva Rahasya Puranam, Dhruvasya Puranam, Kapila Puranam, Vamana Puranam, Bhargava Puranam, Varuna Puranam, Kalika Puranam, Kalinga Puranam, also we can say that Sambha Puranam, Nandi Puranam, Surya Puranam, Parasara Puranam, Vashishta Puranam, Devi Bhagavatam, Ganesha Puranam, Hamsa Puranam, like this. Okay, now we will see what are the Puranas, these 18 Puranas, and what are the main features or special things are mentioned in those Puranas. Just for in a bird nutshell only, means bird eye view, or in a nutshell I am going to give. The first one we will take it as Agni Puranam, which is having 15,400 slokas only. It contains the encyclopedia information of Mithila, which is means the story, history, politics, educational systems, and the iconography, taxation, theories, organization of army, and other things, diplomacy, local law, buildings, and many things are mentioned in this Purana. And second one is Bhagavata Puranam, which is very famous in, so especially south part of India. It is having 18,000 slokas, and in these slokas we mention Dashavataras, that is the 10 avatars of Sri Vishnu as per the Vaishnavism. It is one of the main texts in the Vaishnavism also, and it also contained the controversial genealogical logical on details and the dynasties of the Ikshvaku, Suryavamsa, Chandravamsa, and other things, and the manuscripts, and how the Indian languages and the land is elaborated beautifully, and the Bhakti movements also culminated in these scriptures. Then comes the third one is Brahma Purana, which is having 10,000 slokas. It is also called as Adi Purana because among these 18 Puranas, this is the first Purana. But generally we call it Agni Puranam because the A word is coming. But in basic, the Brahma Puranam is the first Puranam. It is having 245 chapters. Okay. It is also mentioned about Vishnu, Vayu, Markandeya, and other, means it is referring with other Puranas also. And Brahmanda Puranam, okay, it is having 12,000 slokas. It is the one of the earliest composed sloka. It is having a detail of Lalita Sahasranama. We generally in south part of India they read Lalita Sahasranamam. This Lalita Sahasranamam actually comes in the Brahmanda Puranam. That's why in the last thing, iti Brahmanda Purane Uttarakande Sri Hayagriva Agastya Samvate Sri Lalita Sahasranama Katanam, like that the word comes. Okay. And it is also mentioning about the other countries like Bali and Indonesia also. This Brahmanda Puranam scripture is used, and there is a reference about other continents. Then Brahma Vaivasvata Puranam, which is having 18,000 slokas. It discusses the detail of Shiva, Parvati, Ganesha, Devi, Vishnu, Krishna, Radha, etc. Okay, and there is a special mention about Radha, and there is a mythological love and love story of god and goddesses and other things. And it is one of the main Purana which is mentioned about the Kaveri river. And Bhavishyat Puranam, which will be talking about the future avatars, because there are innumerable avatars, and those avatars also discussed in details. It is having 14,500 slokas. So next we will go to the sixth Purana, that is Garuda Purana, which is having 18 slokas. In this Garuda Purana only we have this Narakas all. Okay, and there are so many Karma Kandas, Upasana Kandas, and Moksha Upayana, how the hell is, means heaven is existing, hell is described in this Garuda Purana, which is very famous. And Kurma Purana, 17,000 slokas is having. It is one of the second major Upanishad according to Lord Vishnu, because in according to Vaishnava, Sri Vaishnavism, this is one of the second largest Purana. Then comes the Linga Purana, which is having 11,000 slokas. This Linga Purana is basically describing about the symbol of Lord Shiva and how the universe is created, and what are the tatparyam or the philosophy behind the lingam, means the symbols and other things. And there is a dispute between Vishnu and Brahma during that time. How Lord Shiva appeared and taken the avatara is described in detail. Then comes the Markandeya Purana, which is having 9,000 verse only slokas. This Markandeya Purana is one of the main Purana because it comes and almost referred in the Mahabharatam also, Devi Mahatmyam also, and other scriptures, especially other scriptures also. Okay. Now, then 10th one is Matsya Puranam, which is having 14,000 slokas. This Matsya Purana is also called encyclopedia, which is detailed beautifully about the major 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu, and Western India people also, and the geographical details and Brahma, Saraswati and their lineages, everything and their dynasties were discussed. Then comes the Narada Puranam, which is having 25 slokas, and which is also known as Naradiya Puranam. Sometimes they call Narada Puranam, sometimes they call it as Naradiya Puranam. It is discussed about the Vedas and the Veda Angas, and in the chapters of 92 to 109, no, it is summarized almost all the Mahapuranas, and how the planet is existing, the astronomy and the characteristics and the mystic and the philosophies of those times are discussed in this Purana. And next 12th one is Padma Purana, which is having 55,000 slokas. Okay, 55,000 slokas, and this is one of the largest compilation, and which is often referred in the northern part of India. And in this mainly it is referring the Padma Puranam. There is a slight difference between Padma Puranam and other scriptures, of course, but there is a Padma Purana which is referring about the Mahatmyam of Srimad Bhagavatam, Skanda Puranam and other. It means one Purana is recognizing the another Purana. Okay, and there is means a beautiful description about how the Lord should be worshipped, and the geographical features of the world and cosmology and the world, everything is mentioned. And next 13th one is Shiva Puranam, 24,000 slokas, which is in detail discussed about the story about Lord Shiva. Then the 14th one is Skanda Puranam, which is the one of the largest Puranam among these 18 Purana. This Skanda Puranam is one of the largest Purana, which is having 81,100 slokas. Okay, and this one not only discuss about the Lord Kartikeya, which is in South India they call it as Muruga, and this is an extraordinary, meticulously discussed about the pilgrim's guide, geographical features, and about the length and breadth of the parables and stories, and the means content, everything is discussed. Then the 15th one is Vamana Purana, which is having 10,000 slokas, and it is mostly in discussing about the northern part of India, especially in Himalaya and its food region. Next comes the 16th one is Varaha Puranam, which is having 24,000 slokas. Primarily, it is one of the avatara of Lord Vishnu. So there is a Mahatmyam about the Vamana Avataram and how the other incarnations are taken are discussed in this Varaha Puranam. Next comes the Vayu Puranam, which is having 24,000 verses. This is beautifully discussed about the other devatas, especially even the Lord Shiva and other Markandeya Puranam also. It is referring, it is also containing the geographical features of the world. Then the final one is 18th Purana is Vishnu Puranam, which is having 23,000 slokas. And it is one of the major, it is almost similar to Bhagavata Puranam, but there are slight difference between the Bhagavatam and Vishnu Puranam, because the Srimad Bhagavatam is Sukacharya as elaborated to Lord Parikshit, means King Parikshit, whereas in the Vishnu Puranam, Markandeya Maharishi is explaining everything. Okay, this is how these 18 Puranas. Now, how it is classified, we will see. In the Padma Puranam, Uttarakandam, 236th chapter, 18th section to 21, it is beautifully discussed. And in the Vaishnava Purana, it is classified based on the three gunas: Satvika Puranam, Rajasa Puranam, and the Tamasa Puranam. What are the Satvika Puranam? Vishnu Puranam, Narada Puranam, Bhagavata Puranam, Garuda Puranam, Padma Puranam, Varaha Puranam. They are Satvika Puranas. And what are the Rajasika Puranas? Brahma Puranam, Brahmanda Puranam, Brahma Vaivasvata Puranam, Markandeya Puranam, Bhavishyat Puranam, Vamana Puranam. These are all the Rajasic Puranas. And what are the Tamasic Puranas? Matsya Puranam, Kurma Puranam, Linga Puranam, Vayu Puranam, Skanda Puranam, Agni Puranam. These are all the Tamasic Puranas. Don't think that because if you read these Puranas, we will become Tamas. We are already Tamas. That doesn't, because that we already know. But based on the scripture or the style or the evolution, how they means the how they created the srishtis, based on those things they have classified. Okay, now as I discussed this in my earlier classes also, what is meant by Purana? Purana has 10 Lakshanas. Okay, what are those? I am just going to elaborate. In all the 18 Puranas, these 10 features are discussed. And why we call it as Bhagavatam as a Mahapuranam? Because some Puranas, among these 10 characteristics, some of the features may be lacking or may be reduced. They are not given much priority, but they might discussed. Okay, because as per our knowledge we can't calculate those things, but some are literally speaking little means maximum or minimum is there, but whereas in the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, all the 10 are discussed. Now we'll go to the first one. What are these characteristics? 10 characteristics only. Sargaha, how the world is created, how the universe is created, including the evolution, elements, sense, mind, etc. Okay, then the second one is Visarga, how the creation going to be collapsed and how the Virat Purusham is being, Virat Purusha means the Lord, Paramatma is being sustained. Then the third one is Sthanam. Sthanam in English means how it is existing. Okay, what are the abode and how it is, or the means all the 14 lokas, Bhuloka to Borloka to Suvarloka to Mahaloka to Janaloka to Tapaloka, all the 14 lokas have created. And fourth point is Poshanam. Poshanam means sustainability and how the Lord encompassing this world for his devotee. Then the fifth one is Uti. Uti means the cosmic tendency, how this birth and death cycle is taking places. Okay, then the sixth one is Manvantaram, the ruled by Manus. There are so many Manus like Raivata Manu, Chakshisha Manu, Vaivata Manu, like that. So many Manus are there. These Manus and their lineages on the how the humanity are created, everything is discussed. Then the seventh point is Ikshvanu Kataha, how the Lord taken innumerable avatars, so many avatars he has taken, and how he protected the devotees, all elaborated. Then the eighth point is Nirodha, the dissolution of the universe and merging of all these beings back to the supreme, means how the Paramatma is going to do the laya. He is the srishti sthiti laya karta, he is the creator and sustainer and the destroyer also. And during the pralaya time, how he is going to take it back. Then the ninth one is mukti, how a normal person, people, layman can able to liberate from his birth and death circle, which we call it as liberation or moksha or mukti, and how it is attained. It is discussed in these Puranas. And the 10th one is, the last one is Ashrayam, who we have to take refuge, who is the Supreme Lord. If you see Skanda Puranam, Lord Kartikeya or the Muruga is the Supreme. If you take Shiva Purana, Lord Shiva is the Supreme. If you take Brahma Puranam, Brahma is the Supreme. If you take Devi Bhagavatam, Devi is the Supreme. But ultimately the Paramatma is the only Supreme being which is discussed in all the Puranas. So these 10 characters, if you understand, these things only in depth discussed in all the Puranas. Little means it has some taratamaya, means what we call it as little here and there, it will be there. But whereas in the Srimad Bhagavata Puranam, it is completely discussed all these things. So I hope I have given you a bird eye view about the Puranas, which will be very useful for you. And thank you for watching this. Thank you very much. Hari Om.